Good morning, good noon, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on which time zone you are joining us from today. I hope y'all are seated comfortably because we shall be discussing a topic that has taken my personal community and some of yours community by storm. Before we jump into the matter at hand, I would like to issue the following statement. Since this is such a sensitive subject, I would be worried about getting through this presentation without any interruptions by those with different political stances on this specific matter. Luckily, this is a pre-recorded presentation, so I don't need to deal with y'all's musty asses. Please remember that you're free to ask any questions as long as they don't debate my argumentation. Until then, please remain calm and enjoy my presentation on why unironically calling fries patat in Dutch is the only crime that deserves the death penalty, and what to call them in order to be politically correct, spare your miserable life, and be able to witness the future of your unborn children. Before we can delve into the fruits of my extensive research, allow me to sketch out which questions the sections of my presentation will answer. Part 1. Where is the Dutch language spoken? Part 2. What is the Dutch word for French fries? Point 3. What's the etymology of this word / these words, and what does this imply? Part 4. What are the international implications of this phenomenon? Point 5. Which role do condiments play in this debacle? This brings us to the grand finale of this fiasco. Point 6. The conclusion. Let's not waste any crucial time. As soon as we can outlaw this disgusting behavior, the sooner we can evolve into living in a harmonious world. Part 1. By using the Photoshop skills that I've picked up during numerous all-nighters, caused by the absolute torture that art school calls graded assignments, and the services provided to us for free by www.mcharts.com, I've created a map that showcases the following. In red, countries where Dutch is an official native language. In orange, countries that have a region where either Dutch or a Dutch dialect is spoken. In yellow, countries where people often speak Dutch because of either economic reasons or because of a high amount of Dutch-speaking immigrants. If we really go back to the main sources of the contemporary Dutch language, we will find the Netherlands and northern Belgium. As you can see here, Belgium is split into 4 regions. In the east, the German-speaking community. In the south, Wallonia, the French-speaking region. And in the north, Flanders, the Dutch-speaking region. Brussels speaks both Dutch and French, so I will count it as Dutch as well. Some may call the Belgian variant of Dutch Flemish, which is the exact same as Dutch, except for the different accents and a few different dialect words influenced by the French. In the Netherlands, some speak regional dialects and or languages like Frisian, but the only official native language is, you guessed it, Dutch. Today, we will focus on Flanders, the Dutch-speaking part of Belgium, and the Netherlands. Now, for the question of the ages, part 2. What is the Dutch word for fries? In order for me to answer this question, you must know that there are 3 categories in how the Dutch-speaking refer to fries. Category 1, words like friet or its plural, frieten, or the diminutive form of that, frietjes. Category 2, patat. Moving on. Category 3, some might call it patat friet, according to my sources, but that sounds like boomer talk, and they're nearly dead anyways. Their opinions do not matter. Nonetheless, we will count patat friet as acceptable since its suffix is friet, which is the most important element we look for when addressing fries. On this map, you can see provinces from the Netherlands and Flanders. The ones in blue are where more people googled variants of the word friet, while the red represent the provinces where most people google the word patat. Gray is undecided. One of the main issues here is that in Flanders, patat actually means potato. That can cause so many problems, although I do have to admit that if you say the word patat when referring to fries, you do deserve a plate of unseasoned boiled potato, but that's besides the point. Anyways, as you might have guessed, this has caused a big debate between frietchats and patat virgins, which has been ongoing for decades. Good thing we have some stone-cold scientific evidence coming right up for you that might clear up the credibility of the word patat. This brings us to point 3. The etymology of the words friet, frieten, frietjes, and patats. First, let's look at the English term, French fries. Against common belief, there's a very big chance that they don't originate from France, but from Belgium. Historians claim potatoes were being fried in what we now call Belgium in the late 1600s, and some theories mention American soldiers stationed in Belgium discovering fries during World War I. The French in French fries could also refer to the way the potato has been cut. The term too French might be used as a way to describe a particularly wet way of kissing someone, but in culinary terms, it means to cut something in lengthwise strips, hence the term French fries. So, moving on, let's look at how the Dutch stole from Belgium and fucked it all up, just like they stole from Asia and fucked it all up in the 1600s. The first official recorded occurrence of the dish in Belgium was in 1857 in the French-speaking city Liège. In 1862, the dish could also be found in the Dutch-speaking part of Belgium. In the second half of the 19th century, the popularity of the fries really grew in Belgium, which resulted in them eventually building multiple small snack shops in every city, town, or village that are called frietkotten or frituren, which are small restaurants that mainly sell fries or other fried snacks. Most Belgian families have a tradition of eating fries at least once a week, some even twice. The point is, the Belgians are all about their friet. A few years after the establishment of friet in Belgium, in 1868, fries were introduced to the Netherlands in the city Breda, and in 1905 they had their first frituur as well. Only after the Second World War, fries became a big thing in the north of the Netherlands, where they started calling it patat for some fucking reason which is beyond me. Conclusion, the patat virgins stole fries and then fucked it all up by calling them patats. Let me show you a map of the Netherlands where you will see that more and more people are googling the word friet instead of patat. Please do take a moment to appreciate this positive growth in human society. Before we move on, allow me to inform you that Belgian fries are known to be much better than Dutch fries. Also, here you can see a map published in 1972, which also shows the patat friet border, clearly being in the center of the Netherlands. Oh, sorry, is the fact that this is a form of cultural appropriation and terrorism. The international implications. If you look at my presentation, you will see translations of French fries in many languages, categorized by continent. I have carefully curated this and marked the ones that I could recognize as having a variation of the word friet or fried in their terminology. I bet more of them have the word fried in it, but my language skills are limited to a few scripts. So, what are the international implications? The mere existence of the word patat, which means potato and does not include the adjective fried, is a straight attack on the relationship between the Dutch-speaking nations and the rest of the world. This will crumble the alliance we have worked so hard to build since the late 1800s, early 1900s. Networking issues lead to economic issues, which lead to national collapse, which lead to revolution. Are the patat virgins secretly World War II revanchists trying to get back at Belgium for their role in World War II? Who knows? All we can tell for sure is that their actions will bring hell to the entirety of the Benelux and bring Philippe, King of the Belgians, to tears. What will the other nations think of us when we tell them that we allowed people to use the word potato in order to refer to potatoes that have been cut lengthwise, fried on a lower heat for a longer period of time, taken out in order to cool off, put back in the frying oil at a higher heat for a shorter period of time in order to create a crispy outer shell, then thrown into a metal container with salt and tossed around immediately in order to make salt stick to the surface of the potato? Friet is the action that makes a patat a friet. Moving on. Point 5. Which role do condiments play in this fiasco of a debacle? As we know, Belgium is the place for fries. This might sound disgusting to some Americans, but the main condiment to accompany fries in Belgium is mayonnaise, which is slightly spicier than the one found in the United States of America. In order to show you that this isn't just a Belgian quirk, allow me to show you some other places that use mayonnaise to flavor their fries. In the UK, in Utah, in the US, there's ketchup plus mayo, which they call fry sauce. In Turkey as well, and in France. In France, they also use sauce pommes frites, which is very similar to the Dutch frietsaus, which is a lighter version of mayonnaise, sometimes slightly béarnaise sauce-like. Yes, you heard it right. Frietsaus. The fact that the most popular sauce in the Netherlands is frietsaus makes it even more absurd that they'd even fathom to refer to fries as patat. It is friet with frietsaus, not patat with frietsaus. It makes zero sense, and it once again proves that the Northern Dutch are out to start World War III. Hence my conclusion, point 6. So, what have we learned today? Number 1. The word friet was first officially recorded in 1857 in Belgium, while it took patat until after 1945 to be recorded in the Netherlands. Number 2. More and more people have been rejecting patatism and have been converting to frietism. This is because the wealthy and intelligent are always the ones copied by the less fortunate. Saying patat officially lowers your IQ by 50. Number 3. Using the word patat goes against international conventions and might get us exiled from Earth. Number 4. Even the Dutch use the word friet, and they all eat frietsaus. The pure stubbornness of Team Patat does not make any sense and is proof of them being a malicious organization. Conclusion. We must outlaw the usage of the word patat when referring to fries instead of referring to a potato, before it causes damage to the international and national relationships between Dutch-speaking countries and the rest of the world. The death sentence is a horrible, horrible practice, but must be issued immediately in order to deal with this crime, since the consequences of the spreading of this behavior could lead to World War III. Variations of the word fried must be included in the terminology. For example, friet, frieten, frietjes, fritten, or even patat friet. Any questions? Just kidding. Thank you very much for listening. Please report any patat sayers to the authorities. Thank you very much.